So I've moved 8 times, and let me tell you, it's caused me a waste of time, a waste of money, bunch of headache. And so my wife and I both got together, sat down, and put a list together of huge mistakes that we've made in order to hopefully help you guys not make the same mistakes when moving here, specifically to Durango, Colorado. We're getting into it right now. What's up, guys? This is Jon Burden over at Woosah Properties here in Durango, Colorado. We are local real estate agents and have your back when it comes to moving here to Durango. Make sure you give us a call, text, email, days, nights, weekends, if you're even thinking about moving to Durango. All right, so like I mentioned, my wife and I sat down and the first thing on the list was furniture. So a lot of times stuff doesn't fit in the next home. Now what's amazing about Durango is a lot of times the homeowners will want to sell some of the furniture with the home. Some of the furniture will be negotiable and things like that. So a property I'm selling right now, all the furniture is negotiable with the sale. And so a lot of people are putting in the offer that they want the table, the couch, and it goes really well with the home already. So keep that in mind first. But then the other thing is just plan on going shopping either out of town or online, which can be a bit trickier. So kind of factor that in because there's some great furniture stores here, but there's not any huge furniture stores here. We don't have IKEA, we don't have American Home Furniture, we don't have a lot of your bigger furniture stores. So for us, it was harder to find furniture, to be honest. So we shopped on a lot of the online stores and it was just a lot more tricky than we expected. So if you're able to find a house where a lot of the furniture is included, that's awesome. Or of course, if you're bringing a lot of the furniture with you, I'll make a note on that. Feel free to reach out to us.
Call them.
We're happy to go into the home that you're looking at and measure, see if they have a 3D tour where you can actually measure in the 3D tour. And I'm happy to explain how that works. A lot of people are like, what is that actually possible? But you can actually measure walls within a 3D tour if the listing has it. The next thing is, really just looking online for furniture because it is quite a bit more expensive in Durango than other towns. So sometimes when we would go to Albuquerque, we would pick up furniture there and then bring it up here for our property here in Durango. There is a decent selection, like I mentioned, but it's just more expensive. I ordered a really nice treadmill. I'm a distance runner. I ordered really good higher end treadmill and realized kind of got to have a plan. Trying to get it into your house.
I have a plan.
So I got it here and I thought, okay, this isn't gonna be that hard to take apart and get into my house. The thing's like 1,000 pounds. And so it was not even basically possible. So I ended up figuring out how to just keep it in my garage, just roll it into my garage. Had a smaller car at the time. So I went down, rented a jack and put it into my car, like strapped it in the car as I drove out of the parking lot. It rolled right out of my car. So I had to pick it up and get it out of the road and have somebody help me get it into my car again, get home and get that treadmill. It was on these crates. So I had to try to figure out how to get it off of the sidewalk into my garage. And it was kind of a nightmare. So it's just like having people help you move, planning to have movers, just being willing to like look into the expense of that and figure, is that worth it for me? And half the time it probably will be, especially if you have bigger items to move. So regarding boxes, I really recommend going on Craigslist or Facebook. And a lot of times people just moved and they're just giving away boxes. So you don't have to go try to figure out how to buy a bunch of boxes that you're only going to use once. So that's a really good tip as far as, again, just going on Craigslist or Facebook. So I checked before filming this and there were a bunch on there like at the time of doing my research for this video. The next kind of line item is appliances. You need a stove, microwave, washer, dryer. Just keep these in mind because some of the time you'll make that offer on the property and we'll work with you to make sure that we negotiate for those, or just make sure to factor in, hey, are my appliances actually going to fit in this home if I'm planning on bringing my appliances in, or kind of what's the situation there. Sometimes sellers do want to take some of those with them. They want to take the fridge. So you got to make sure you're very clear with them in the offer that you want that fridge, if you like the fridge, or if you don't, ensuring that you measure and just kind of have that on a checklist because there's so much to do and so much to think about when when moving. If you're thinking about moving, make sure to give us a call, text, email, like I mentioned earlier. And more specifically, I wanted to say that we're more than happy to go into these properties, measure appliances, take video of appliances, get the ages of them, provide you with some of that type of stuff, check on Craigslist for you if there's boxes. Some of the things that we were talking about earlier, able to definitely help you on some of that research, show you that you're able to, hey, you can rent a jack here, they do have one available, or you can rent certain equipment that you might need, kind of help you with some of those moving items. Use movers.
Are you from the moving company?
Jack Camel is the next thing on my list. They will measure everything for you. They're awesome. They will even help you set up beds. We've worked with some amazing movers in the past, and I just highly recommend looking into the cost of using movers. Look at the cost from where you're moving to here, just kind of price all that out. And I highly recommend either using them. It's great if you do have friends that are gonna help you and you know they're dependable and gonna help you. But having movers is really helpful, especially if you're getting like a 2-story home. Looking at getting some of those bigger furniture items upstairs can be real tricky. We were just looking at a house the other day and it was like, whoa, how on earth are we gonna get that huge desk up there? So just thinking about just kind of planning having movers. The next one is short-term rentals. If you're not sure where to go, you can get monthly rates with Airbnb, and it's a much bigger part of their business now. They're really focusing on monthly rentals. So make sure you check into Airbnb, because you'll look at Airbnb, you're like, whoa, I don't want to spend that for a month. But look at those monthly rates. Make sure you check if there's a discount down at that corner and see that. The other great place to look is Furnished Finders. Furnished Finders is a great website because they're focused on corporate rentals. So they're really focused on your 30 to 90 day stays. They're all furnished, they're all ready for you. They're similar to Airbnb in that way, but generally they're gonna be a little bit more affordable. The hardest thing can be daycare.
You watch Bonanza at Daycare?
Yeah.
So I really wanna emphasize the daycare. There's a lot of waiting lists for daycare. Really wanna look into that, make sure that's on your list to look into if you have kids, of course, that would need daycare. Number 7 is garages.
Access into the garage without setting off any alarm.
Garages are sometimes really small or detached, especially when you get into town.
Can't park in a garage.
And you'll see, you'll see in town, a lot of people are just parking on the streets, and a lot of homes don't even have garages, or the garages have been converted. So a property I just sold, the garage was converted into part of the living room, and they're looking at maybe extending the driveway so that they have 2 spots. But a lot of these are one car driveways, and there's parking on the road. So keep in mind that you're gonna get a lot of snow in the winter, a reasonable amount of snow compared to most other areas. So just factoring that in. Can I do a carport? Can I add a garage on this property, and what would that look like? Sometimes there is alley access. There's alleys behind a lot of these homes in town. Sometimes you can put a garage, but you really want to check with city planning. Like I mentioned earlier, we're happy to help you with that. So reach out to us, give us a call, text, email, let us know, hey, I'm looking at this property. Can you check with city planning to see if I can actually put a garage on this property and how that would work? Sometimes, a lot of the times, there's setbacks, there's height restrictions, there's things that you definitely want to look into regarding garages or ADUs, accessory dwelling units. If you want to put one on a property, especially in town, a lot of the times you're not allowed to use the front of the property. Now you have to use that other side. Little weird.
It's weird though, it's weird.
But that's one of their rules and one of the things you have to follow. So check with us. We're happy to check with planning specifically and get you those details on the specific property if you're looking into doing that. Now, number 8 is consider which way your driveway faces. So if it faces east, then the snow melts quicker. And then keep in mind, even if it does face east, a lot of properties are gonna have these big pine trees right over it still, maybe blocking some of the sun. So our driveway faces west, and of course the snow doesn't melt quick, it ices over. I've got to be out there shoveling.
Because we forgot to shovel the driveway.
Or using a snow blower. So it's something you really want to put on your list as far as kind of that checklist of things when you're looking at properties out here. It's so much different than somewhere like Albuquerque or Houston or Arizona, because most of those areas it's not going to matter. You might get Albuquerque, you might get snow for a day and then it's gone anyway, no matter which way your driveway faces. Number 9, if you live by the train, it will wake you up. It could be really loud, potentially. You know, we live relatively close to the train, but it's not an issue. So there are a lot of homes next to the train, and so be really aware of that when you're looking at homes, especially in town, north of town. Those are really the only 2 areas. It's in town and north of town. Just be sure, like, hey, is the train there? Hey, is there a busy road? Stuff that you really can't see without, you know, you can check the map, but you might not be too sure if that's a busy road. So I had a client check with me the other day. He said, well, what about this road? It looks like a bigger road. And I let him know, no, that's not a bigger road. I know that subdivision. I've driven that street. It's just traffic from that neighborhood. So again, feel free to check with us if you see a property. We're happy to drive that road for you with a camera, show you specifically what's going on with the amount of traffic. Just to let you hear, plug our microphone in, let you hear how much traffic it really gets from that specific yard of that home, because it really varies. Some of these homes are set back more. Number 10, if you're coming from a city where your yard is xeriscaped, you will most likely have more maintenance here. Most homes here are not xeriscaped. It's fairly rare. A lot of them, you either have this natural habitat like you see around me, or you have a bunch of grass. Maybe you have a lot of flowers in your yard like we do. We've got a lot of flowers and a little bit of grass. So it's really important to just kind of factor that in, the maintenance. You want to check with a landscape company and actually see what it would cost to maintain that yard. Really important on your checklist to see essentially what are landscaping costs, if that's important to you to have on your list at all. Number 11 is getting a hold of us.
Call me.
So it's important to have somebody really fighting for you when it comes to negotiations, but really just looking into all these nuanced details of these properties. So I've got several clients right now asking me, hey, drive this property for me. I really like this, but I'm not sure if it's too close to the road. Like I just gave you that example. I'm not sure if this driveway is too steep. That's something we see a lot. A property I just toured with some clients, they were on the fence with how steep the driveway was. Another one is, hey, how far is this really from town? Because I know there's a little bit of traffic. Are the motorcycles, is the train too close to this property? Some of those nuanced things that you really can't tell from looking online. Feel free to reach out to us, give us a call, text, email, days, nights, weekends. We've got your back when it comes to moving here to Durango, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, tap the notification bell so you're notified every time we release a new video. Really appreciate you watching. See you guys.